Leo, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early June 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you beautiful people out there. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Leo collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Leos in early June 2026? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Leo in early June. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. And we are pushing closer and closer to your birthday season, my good friends. Not quite there just yet, but I love this lady and her haircut. I really do. It's just so unique. Every time I see her, it puts a smile on my face. So I actually like this card because although it just looks like a lady in front of a sewing machine, it does imply a lot of other stuff when you look at the deeper symbolism of it. So maybe for some of you, you are dealing with some situations with complexity. That could partially be it. But before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk about this lovely, unique individual we have right here. So we see this awesome lady. She has that really unique looking haircut holding a golden thread. We have the sewing machine with a rainbow coming out of it. She's also wearing all white, which is kind of like a blank canvas. So I will say, first and foremost, this is great for any sort of creativity or thinking outside of the box. Whether you're dealing with a situation, thinking outside of the box, or even a problem, this is a good card because it's like, all right, clean slate, blank slate. We're going to do this a different way now. That's one thing I like about it. Again, the creative juices could be flowing for a lot of Leos, and I know you Leos need some form of expression. It's an important thing. So whether it's art, whether it's writing, whether it's a hobby, this energy is putting its attention and intention into something, and there's great results for anything creative. That's great. Um, Aside from the creation, this could sometimes represent fixing something. I know we already did speak about complexity, and that could be true. So you might be dealing with some situations that have a lot of layers and a lot of complexity. But when I see someone in front of a sewing machine, I feel like it's somebody altering things or creating something or making fixes or mending. So for a lot of Leos in this time, it could be great for any sort of healing, any sort of fixing, any sort of problem solving. So I like this card quite a bit for a lot of different reasons. But we're going to let her chill right there with her awesome hairdo. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. Shuffle it up one time here for Leo gang. What do we got in early June, please? And yeah, while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was titled A Surprising Change, and I always say that life itself is perpetual change, right? We're always shifting, always changing. Sometimes it's slower, sometimes it's quicker. And the energy last week did feel like it was doing a bit of a 180, where like whether it's a change within oneself or a change in a situation, it's like, oh, this is different. And it kind of came out of the blue. So just know, even over the next coming weeks, there could be this energy where certain things do a little flip on you. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for the lovely Leos. What's happening in early June? Okay. Yeah, talk about doing a little flip on you. We got the tower in position number 1. Talk about starting with a bang, right? And you know me, I always say not every tower is a bad tower. It doesn't intimidate us, right, Leo? We don't mind this bit of energy. It's just intense. Let's get a couple more. Let's get a couple more for the lovely Leos. Okay. So we got the 3 of Pentacles right here in the center. Okay. I mean, that could be work related. It could even be other people. This doesn't even necessarily have to be you. Let's get one more and start piecing this together. These are energies that are showing me different things. Okay, so we got 2 cards that just popped out together. We got beautiful Lady Justice, nice and balanced here on the back end, which actually, to me, that really balances off this tower on the front. And then we also have the 4 of Swords as a bonus. So the energy, aside from that tower, seems pretty chill. So this is going to be an intriguing one to put together. Let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first, look, first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like that's important. It frames the reading, tells us how things are going to flow. We have a nice mixture here this week. It's not too heavy in one way or another. When there's too much of one element, it could get lopsided, right? But we have water, earth, and air. So that's a nice mixture. And again, these could be different situations. It could be different aspects of the same situation, too. Now, the tower, although it looks like fire and brimstone, it's technically Scorpio energy, very scorpionic, transformation based. But when it comes to all water, that represents the emotional self, matters of the heart, things, people, situations that we're emotionally invested in. So, like, yeah, this is all internal. Now, the great thing, it's very creative. Just like we were seeing with the seamstress lady, it's like very creative, get those juices flowing. I love water element for that. But the downside to water is that sometimes it could be overwhelming. It could be a little too intense, and water can just rush in out of nowhere. So we'll keep an eye on it. In the center, we have earth. Now, these energies together actually play off of each other very well. When I see water earth mixture, to me, it represents blessings normally. But when I see earth, I think of stability and security, whether it's internally or externally. I think of routine, I think of day to day life, money, work, business, finance, all the material aspects. Home and family could be in play as well. The only downside with earth is that sometimes it could be a little sticky, right? Sometimes it might be frustrating, or it might be something that's not moving how we'd like it to move. So we'll see how that plays. Back here we have the air. So I would say most of the energy this week is internal, because with the water, that's matters of the heart. This is matters of the mind. Swords, very smart, very intelligent. That does deal with processing information, strategy, giving or receiving information, communication. All of that can be a play with the swords. It could be a thirst for information. That could be a big thing when we have a lot of air. The downside to it, and again, it's sharp, it's smart, it's intelligent. The downside to too much air is that it can overthink. It could be a little too much in its own head. And it could also sometimes be cold and detached. So you see what I mean? We have a mixture of stuff happening here. Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, aside from all that water talk, we have the big tower starting us off with a bang. Now, I usually say I love to start reading with an action card, and we don't get much more action than we do with the tower. Now, the imagery itself can be a little bit concerning, right? We see the lightning bolt, the tower, the people flying all over the place. But to me, it is just an energy of shock. Doesn't mean it's a bad one, right? It's just an energy that comes in out of the blue or just pops up out of nowhere. So, similar to what we were seeing last week, where I remember I was saying like the energy does like a quick 180. That's tower energy all day. Now, again, for some of you, if you're connected to Scorpio or have Scorpio placements, simple, right? Like this could just be representing that. But again, the tower, if we're not looking at the shock, it can be change. It could be wiping the slate clean, starting from scratch. Yes, it can represent endings, and it is also a karmic card as well. So there's a lot of intense energy packed into one, but always keep it in the forefront of your mind. Just because it's shocking, just because it's out of the blue, doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing. So we'll revisit this, of course. Now, moving to the middle, we get a complete and total vibe switch. Right, because we go from this tower that's like a lightning bolt, literally and figuratively. Maybe it's a good idea for some of you because it could also be like eureka moments where it's like, aha, okay, that makes sense. But moving into the middle, we have the Three of Pentacles. Now, this is one of my bigger cards of work, career, business, how we earn money. This could represent groups of people, as with all threes in the tarot deck. It could represent other individuals. So this might not necessarily be you. It could be someone in your circle, someone around you. I would, and when we talk about the challenges of this, that's when we get into the more nuanced energy of like what's going on with the people around me, how they're acting, how they're treating things. But in the upright, this is creative, artistic, it's working together. Teamwork makes the dream work. So if you're not dealing with career things, career changes, like this energy can be very good because it can also represent assistance and help. But yeah, the downside, it could represent people overcomplicating things. Too many chefs in the kitchen, too many people trying to call the shots, the energy getting pulled this way and that. So we need to look and see if this is other people's energy. But normally it has a pretty good calm baseline. And speaking of calm baseline, we get to the back end. We have the beautiful Lady Justice chilling right here. Nice Libra vibe. So if you're connected to a Libra or have Libra placements, this could be them right there. And Lady Justice has a lot of detail to her because, yes, she represents decision making, choices, literal justice, fairness, and balance. So there could be certain situations where it's like, okay, that's fair, that's balanced, or hey, that's not fair, that's not balanced. We'll just have to see how it all plays out. She is the biggest karmic card of reaping what you sow. What you put forth, you get back in return. So we'll see whether it's a situation or something else. She could be in play. She can also deal with documents, legal situations, legalities. So watch anything you're putting your signature on when she shows up here. But yeah, again, usually she's pretty balanced and it's like a nice neutral approach. So, like, these energies on the back end do balance off this tower. But again, at the same time, she is highly karmic in nature. The downside to Lady Justice, as mentioned, we just flip everything I was saying in the inverse. It could represent imbalance. It could represent someone that's acting a little different, someone who's not acting in a fair and balanced way. So we're going to look into that more. Here on the back end, we have the Four of Swords, calm, relaxed. This is one of my cards of like taking a mental vacation of some sort. So you might need one when this card is here. It could be rest. It could represent prayer, meditation, going within. This is an inward facing card. And I usually like it because it's chill. So whereas like with the Tower, that's an energy that could be closing a cycle. This one is kind of delaying or pausing something. So again, it's just another flavor since it's a bonus. But I love it for the spiritual aspects of prayer, meditation, going within, all that good stuff. And it's a break. It's taking a break or needing one. So I want to dive deeper on all this, Leo. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for the lovely Leos. What's happening? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Tower. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Leo, you can drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Tower time. What is it about? Thank you. This actually might be a very good one. Yeah, so we have the Fool in the upright, which is good. Now, if this was in reverse, I would say this could be a very risky energy. And I'll just say it just for saying it, since I'm feeling it a little bit. Really watch out for risk, taking chances, taking leaps. Watch impulse control in this time, because when I see the Tower and the Fool, it's like an energy that just goes for it. And again, as a fire sign myself, I know a lot of times we get that urge, especially if there's something we're waiting on or something we're wanting to do. Tower with the Fool is like, screw it, I'm going this way. Screw it, I'm moving forward. So there is that little risky type of energy, but at the same time, I feel like this could be really fantastic. Even if you have been through a Tower recently that obviously wasn't ideal, when I see the Fool card, this is a new beginning, a fresh start, a new chapter. So if there is an ending, it might be the close of one chapter, opening of a new. And the Fool, aside from being Aries energy, to me is just optimistic. It's happy. It's seeing the silver lining, the sunshine, right? So the Tower with this Fool, could this be a shocking win, shocking victory? Damn right it can be. Could it be someone taking a risk, taking a leap? Absolutely. The only warning I have here is watch for, impulse control and taking unnecessary risk. I mean, unless you're dealing with somebody that's a bit of a live wire, but this energy does feel like it jumps quick. It jumps quick. It doesn't delay. It doesn't wait. So I think it's good for a lot of Leos, but I would say just watch the impulse control. That's the only thing. We're going to keep going. So could it be a shocking winner victory for some of you? Yes. And that's a good thing. And that's claimable. But for another portion, it's it's an energy that acts before it thinks. Let's go in on the Three of Pentacles. Let's see what that has. So why is the Three of Pentacles here? Good. Cool. All right. Yeah, a lot of questions here. So we have the High Priestess right here in the center, clarifying the Three of Pentacles. A lot of questions, a lot of unknowns when we see her. Now, she's not necessarily a bad card. She's not the worst case scenario. I view her similar to the moon. Now, when it comes to the High Priestess, Pisces energy, I also give her to all the water signs, so Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. She is an energy that comes completely out of the blue, right? Now, she is the matron of psychics, intuitives, tarot readers. She represents intuition, your gut trying to tell you something. But aside from that, she is hyper quiet. All right. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's like a terrible, deep down bad secret or something. But I feel like I have a lot of questions, either for someone or something, where it's like, I just have a lot of questions about this. There's a lot of wondering happening. So again, if that's not you, it could be somebody else, where it's like, I wonder what so-and-so is doing. I wonder what so-and-so is thinking. I wonder what so-and-so is planning. I feel like I'm questioning a lot of people and their motives and what's happening. So in this time, you might be extra curious, or someone can be, when this energy shows up. If we are to give this one more little side meaning, I mean, with these people getting together and talking and her, like, could this be an unexpected talk of some kind or a surprising talk? Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know why I have so many questions. We're just going to let her chill right there. We're not going to question her too much. I want to see what Lady Justice has. So let's go in on Lady Justice. Then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So, why is the lovely Lady Justice in the mix? Thank you. Wheel of Fortune. Whoa. All right. So a lot of major arcana, a lot of powerful major arcana this week. Five of the six main cards are major arcana, which these represent big, powerful, energetic themes. Tons of intensity. And believe it or not, the Wheel of Fortune does embody some similar traits to this tower up here in the front, where it could be a little risky, right? It could be a little impulsive. It could represent an energy that pops in completely out of the blue. But the thing about the wheel, to me, um, it's my four-leaf clover. It's my luck charm. It's something that goes my way. So when I see Lady Justice, cool, calm, collected, concise, then the Wheel of Fortune hits. Boom. It's like whether something good is happening or whether something good isn't happening, I remain neutral. I remain the same. So for some of you, there's this energy that's non-reactive, which could be good. It could be advice for some of you where it's like stay non-reactive, stay neutral, stay middle ground. But this fits and builds the theme every step along the way of something popping up out of the blue, just like we saw last week. Because the wheel, it is also karmic, I will say that. I could represent the karmic cycles, changes, all the things that we've been seeing. But it's rapid, it's fast, it's sudden, it's out of the blue. So when we combine the tower with the fool, then even this here in the center, there's like these questions and this hidden energy. But I can't help but think that it is like that shocking, unexpected winter victory. It's here multiple times this week. So for a lot of Leos, you might have the lucky touch, right place, right time, or you make the right move at the right time, or something just swings your way. It feels like I have a four-leaf clover. It feels like I have the lucky touch. So I think that's good. I really think that's claimable. For a small portion of you, this energy could be a karmic blessing as well. So overall, I like what we're seeing, aside from like the questions and the wondering, right? But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. I like your reading this week. So even if you're going through a bit of a tough one, it seems like the energy is working for you as opposed to against you. But position number one, we got the tower with the fool in the upright. So yeah, shocking winter victory. We already spoke about that. It's here multiple times. Uh, the only downside to this, it could just be very risky. Act first, ask questions later. So watch out for impulse control, because this is an energy where it's like, I'm just going to send it. I'm just going to do it, not even thinking it through. So it's like taking action. And I kind of saw this in other fire signs too this week. In the center, we have the Three of Pentacles with the High Priestess in the upright. There's either someone or a situation where there's a lot of wondering, there's a lot of questions. So again, whether it's somebody else wondering about you or maybe you wondering, it's like there's something on my mind and I'm looking at the subtleties and I'm trying to figure it out. There's certain things that I have a ton of questions about. But aside from that, this energy could just be a conversation that pops up out of the blue, which might actually be a good one, because as we move to the back end, we have Lady Justice with the Wheel of Fortune. Very sudden, fast, rapid, unexpected energy. And I feel like it's good. I feel like it's an energy that goes your way. So if you've been having towers, if you've been having energy that's working against you recently, this mends it and fix it. And it's like a karmic blessing of some sort. So all this energy is sudden, but it's good. So I'll take that any day. Please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for the lovely Leos? Oh, the deck is trying to jump out of my hands. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card here just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get this shadow card out. Let's get this shadow card out. Thank you. Cool. Four of Swords. So this card has shown up multiple times for you today. This guy right over here shows up once again in the shadows. So in the positive sense, remember, I mentioned mental vacation, taking a break, taking a rest. Very important to not overdo it or overexert yourself in general. Now, again, I know life throws certain things at you sometimes and you don't have a choice, but this energy does need to rest, recuperate, and recharge its batteries first and foremost. And again, with the Four of Swords, it represents a break or a pause, like a pit stop, so to speak. So that's the good aspect of this card. But the downside to the Four of Swords is the feeling of being stuck, right? So there could be certain things, people, situations in this time where it's like, is this ever going to change? Is this always going to be this way? Are energies actually moving for me? Because the Four of Swords, once it's laying there sleeping, it seems like it's stuck in place. So watch out for that stuck feeling, because with the energy I saw this week, it won't be stuck for long. Another thing with the Four of Swords, again, it's very inward facing, very self reflective. So, again, now might be a great time for any sort of spiritual practice. So, we're just going to leave that right there, my friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the June subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My June calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the June subscriber surprise, doing another winner's choice, the winners, which will be three, will have a choice between either the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck, one of my all-time favorites, or you can choose a custom pendant from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards in the deck, which one do you feel represents you and your energy best? You could even pick multiple if you'd like. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab /post tab. My friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.